Assalamualaikum, Salam. Cik Haris. Thanks for coming on the show lah.
Sure.
So, hari ni kita nak cakap sikit pasal kita punya Perdana Menteri, Datuk Seri Najib Razak, and how over the last 1 year he has been trying to put some things correct some things about how Malaysia has been running. From where you stand as a civil society activist, how do you think our Prime Minister ni, macam mana dia punya report card dia?
I don't want to sound like a pessimist lah. But a lot of us are beginning to feel that Najib is at risk of probably going down the same route as Patla. A lot of promises. We've had a lot of promises since he came in about economic growth, dealing with the crime situation in the country. More importantly, for individuals like myself, initiatives that are pushing to forge unity among the rakyat. His One Malaysia initiative, which I think he announced on Hari Malaysia 2008, 16 September 2008. We don't seem to be getting anywhere. I mean, on the one hand, we see One Malaysia appearing on billboards, on practically every new corporate entity tries to build into it One Malaysia somewhere. But take for example BTN, Biro Tata Negara, when I think Najib announced his concerns that perhaps this needed to be dismantled. What happened? The next day, his Deputy Prime Minister asserts that it must carry on. Look at the Perkasa. He's come out today to say Perkasa is not too extreme. But look at the rhetoric that Ibrahim Ali and those within that setup have been spewing, very divisive language. So one begins to ask, where is Najib actually going with One Malaysia, this Rakyat First performance now? Have we really seen anything?
Why do you think there's so much resistance from even within his own party, which is so central, kan? Dia punya support base is supposed to be from there. If he wants to execute his vision, why isn't there, to borrow, why isn't there so much love from, or is there, that we're not seeing?
Well, I think the problem has been this, for so long, within the UMNO setup, UMNO within BN, and the NEP, then the NDP, whilst at first blush, the affirmative action program, even under the NEP, was about eradicating poverty across the board. It was not supposed to be race-based, in theory. But we know there has been a huge problem with implementation. Leave aside the question of racial classification. The bigger problem was huge leakages. Now, one has to ask where those leakages were going. Obviously, the adverse reaction to the Prime Minister's programs are coming from those who would immediately benefit if these programs were ongoing, along with the leakages. That's the sense that we get. Otherwise, if you look at the One Malaysia program, I look at the One Malaysia program, first blush, it looks very good, sounds very good. It's a lot of excellent ideals. Why would anyone nak menolak, nak menentang? Unless removing the previous programs, you stand to lose lah. And I think that's really what's happening. He's facing tremendous resistance from within his own ranks.
Because they stand to gain, like you say, from...
Or conversely, they stand to lose so much with this reform if the Prime Minister pushes it through. I mean, I found quite interesting his NEM, New Economic Model, that he announced. He has addressed, and I think correctly, at least on paper, the 40% lowest income earners within society, 40% who he says are earning 1,500 and below. And he's talking about addressing that immediately. The reaction to, you look at Perkasa's reaction to his announcement about the Equal Opportunities Commission. Why would anyone want to oppose equal opportunities for all? Tak masuk akal. Tak masuk akal. So one has to ask, what is it that they stand to lose?
Right. Now, Haris, kita kalau if we leave things alone to politicians alone, that it feels like boleh jadi gila lah, right?
Tak ke mana-mana.
Tak ke mana-mana, kan? Whereas the issue of unity is something that kita semua, I think, embroiled in, involved in. How is it that you feel civil society has to play its part? How what can we do?
For me, you talk about unity. Reality is this: we've seen communal politics in this country for what, the last almost 40 years. We're not going to overturn all that's seeped into society over the last 40 years. It's a long haul. I think you're right. If we leave it to the politicians will always look to expediency. If it's inexpedient to take the high ground, they will avoid the high ground. I think it's important for civil society, efforts like this, your program, to try to get the message out that, if people start to speak with one voice, we will begin to realize the people power that's entrenched in the Constitution. That's the vote. But it's down to people like you, like me, the little efforts that we see sort of springing up in civil society. People are better informed these days. But the reality is also this. There's a large segment of our society that includes those in the hinterland and the interior who are not getting access to this sort of information. We need to make a serious effort to get that word out to them. That kalau rakyat bersatu, maka rakyat berkuasa.
Tak kisahlah parti politik.
Tak kisah. We have to rise above the party politics that we see in the country today, because, again, like I said, they will act according to party politics interests.
Do you think, kan, in your heart dalam kalbu ni, can we do it or not?
I firmly believe that we can. But we've got to believe in the strength that we will find. We only need to go back. You look at Fahmi Reza's punya 10 tahun sebelum merdeka, 1947, with the lack of information there, an entire nation brought the economy to a standstill for one day. Takkanlah hari ni kita tak boleh buat. Tapi I agree with you. Each one of us must have this love untuk each other.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Haris. Terima kasih lah.
Terima kasih.